Barack Hussein Obama was born on August 4, 1961, in Honolulu, Hawaii. His mother, Ann Dunham, came from Kansas, while his father, Barack Obama Sr., was from Kenya. The two had met on the island of Maui in a time when their relationship drew attention. Interracial marriages were still rare and often frowned upon in the early 1960s United States. Obama's maternal grandmother strongly opposed the union, especially as rumors spread about Obama Sr. leading a double life, already a father to several children back in Kenya. But Anne was pregnant. The young couple married quickly, and on that August day Barack was born. For a few years life was calm. Then everything shifted when Obama's father was accepted at Harvard. He left Hawaii to continue his studies, promising he would return. He never did. Instead, he built a new life in Kenya and fathered more children. Barack would see his father only once more at the age of 10. Anne eventually married again, this time to an Indonesian student named Lolo Suetoro. In 1967, she and 6-year-old Barack moved to Jakarta. 3 years later, his half-sister Maya was born. Yet Anne wanted her son to receive an American education, so she sent him back to Hawaii to live with his maternal grandparents. Barack was just 10 years old when he boarded a plane alone for Honolulu. His grandmother, Madeline, took charge of raising him, on one condition: Barack should be brought up as if he had no African heritage. In the America of the 1970s, still deeply scarred by racial tensions, this was complicated. Surrounded by a white family, attending a prestigious private school, Barack constantly felt the weight of difference and the sting of discrimination. His mother, however, was determined to help him connect with his roots. Thanks to an anthropology grant, she returned to Hawaii for a time. She told him about his father, about Kenya, and introduced him to Martin Luther King Jr. and the civil rights movement. These stories left a lasting impression on the boy. In 1979, at 18, Barack left Hawaii for California to attend Occidental College in Los Angeles. Charismatic, articulate, and athletic, he quickly became popular on campus. But he was also searching for his identity, gradually shedding the nickname Barry to embrace his African-American heritage. He dipped his toes into student politics and began to recognize his gift for public speaking. 2 years later, he transferred to Columbia University in New York. Living modestly in a rundown apartment near Harlem, he confronted firsthand the stark realities of poverty and inequality in America. Between intense reading sessions, jogging in Central Park, and working odd jobs, he sharpened his political awareness. It was during this period in 1982 that he learned of his father's death in a car accident, a sudden loss that deepened his sense of purpose and desire to make meaning of his story. After graduating, Obama moved to Chicago in 1984 to work as a community organizer in the struggling neighborhoods of the South Side. There, he witnessed poverty, unemployment, and systemic neglect, but also the resilience of local churches that anchored community life. He converted to Protestantism and grew close to Reverend Jeremiah Wright, whose sermons intertwined spirituality and social justice. In 1988, Obama took another leap, enrolling at Harvard Law School. Like his father before him, he walked the halls of the nation's most prestigious university, but unlike his father, he stood out. In 1990, he made history as the first black student elected president of the Harvard Law Review, the country's most influential legal journal. The media took notice. Here was a brilliant young man, already seen as destined for great things. During a summer internship at a Chicago law firm, Obama's personal life changed course. He met Michelle Robinson, a talented young attorney with a sharp mind and a strong sense of purpose. She mentored him at first, advised him, and eventually fell for him. Their first date? A movie, Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, followed by chocolate ice cream. It was the start of a love story. In 1992, Barack and Michelle married, with Reverend Wright officiating. Together, they built both a marriage and a shared mission. Barack taught constitutional law, worked on civil rights cases, while Michelle pursued a career at City Hall. Slowly, the couple became a respected presence in Chicago's black community. Politics soon cooled. In 1995, Obama was elected to the Illinois State Senate. Life, however, was not easy. The couple was burdened with debt, and Michelle often questioned whether politics was worth the cost to their family's stability. Barack pressed on, convinced he had a role to play. In 1998, their first daughter, Malia, was born, followed by Sasha in 2001. In 2000, Obama reached higher, running for a seat in the U.S. Congress, but his opponent, Bobby Rush, a former Black Panther, humiliated him in a debate and won handily. Obama lost. Michelle urged him to quit politics altogether, but he refused. He stayed the course, continued his state-level work, distinguished himself on issues like healthcare and education, and in 2003 spoke out against the war in Iraq, positioning himself as a rising voice in American politics. That same year, an opening appeared. A U.S. Senate seat was up for grabs. Obama seized the chance. Michelle, initially doubtful, decided to stand firmly by his side. Together, they refined his image and sharpened his strategy. In 2004, he delivered a historic speech at the Democratic National Convention in Boston, The Audacity of Hope. Before a captivated audience, Obama already looked like the future of the Democratic Party. His rise had begun. The Boston speech exploded like a political thunderclap. For a party searching for direction, Obama became the new face. Confident, fresh, inspiring. He embodied a renewed American dream. Riding this wave of momentum, he was elected to the U.S. Senate on November 2, 2004. A star was born. But why stop there? On February 10, 2007, he announced his candidacy for the 2008 Democratic presidential primary. Standing in his way was Hillary Clinton, former First Lady, frontrunner, and establishment favorite. Yet week after week, the junior senator from Illinois defied expectations. Charismatic and magnetic, he drew massive crowds. His Yes We Can speech on January 8, 2008 became a global rallying cry. Obamania took hold, and by August, Hillary threw her support behind him. On August 28, 2008, the 45th anniversary of Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream, Barack Obama accepted the Democratic nomination. His Republican opponent was John McCain, a respected moderate closely tied to George W. Bush. Obama chose veteran politician Joe Biden as his running mate. Michelle, his greatest asset, helped win over hearts, even as the campaign weathered challenges. A poorly received comment from her and the controversy surrounding Reverend Wright. Obama confronted the storm head-on. In Philadelphia on March 18, 2008, he delivered a landmark speech on race and unity, recentering his candidacy. He also promised to hunt down Osama bin Laden and dismantle al-Qaeda, a pledge that carried deep weight in post-9/11 America. Voter turnout surged. On November 4, 2008, Barack Obama defeated McCain to become the 44th President of the United States and the first African-American to enter the White House. On January 20, 2009, before an ocean of supporters, he took the oath of office. For Malia and Sasha, he and Michelle prioritized as normal a childhood as possible, complete with homework, sleepovers, and a basketball court. His first term was defined by the fallout of the 2008 financial crisis, a massive recovery plan, and above all the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, passed in 2010, extending health coverage to millions. There abroad he reached for diplomacy. His Cairo speech called for a reset with the Muslim world, and his nuclear arms initiatives earned him the Nobel Peace Prize in 2009. But the 2010 midterms were a setback, costing Democrats control of the House. Then on May 2, 2011, came a turning point, the Navy SEAL raid that killed Osama bin Laden. Obama delivered on his promise, and the country briefly stood united. Re-elected in 2012 against Mitt Romney, he solidified Obamacare, endorsed marriage equality, began the withdrawal from Afghanistan, reopened relations with Cuba, and signed the Paris Climate Agreement. By 2016, he handed the presidency to Donald Trump. Staying in Washington so Sasha could finish school, he later published his memoir, A Promised Land, in 2020, and played a key role in rallying support for Joe Biden's victory. Barack Obama gave new shape to the American dream, a man of conviction, perseverance, and vision, proof that hope, when anchored in action, can become a force powerful enough to reshape history.